How long is the postgraduate work permit valid for? Can postgraduate work permit be extended? Is there an age limit for postgraduate work permit? If you have worked for more than 20 hours a week, you might risk getting a postgraduate work permit approval. If you're one of those people that, due to financial reasons, while you're studying, you needed to defer your course or your study for a period, please make sure to reach out to IRCC, get a confirmation from the school so that you don't have to be explaining, no evidence, you go explain tire. One thing that you must never do is to lose your status as a student or lose your status to remain in Canada. Please try to take note of the expiration date on your study permit, and please note, study permit is different from study visa. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, my name is Yemisi. On this channel I create videos about settling into Canada as an international student, as a permanent resident, as a visitor. I like to say it's a one-stop shop, so please subscribe for more videos. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about postgraduate work permit in Canada. I graduated in June 2023, which is this year. I am currently working with my postgraduate work permit, which allows me to stay for 3 years because my graduate degree was for 2 years. So I've been getting a lot of questions as to, will I be eligible if I study in a diploma program, all of those questions. And I realized that I'd never done a video on postgraduate work permit. So in this video, we're going to be talking about postgraduate work permit eligibility, what postgraduate work permit even means, and postgraduate work permit refusal reasons, how to apply for postgraduate work permit. So please make sure to stick around to the end. So if you see me looking down, I've made a few jottings here. I'm trying not to miss out on any important information for you. So the first thing is, people would ask, what is postgraduate work permit? Postgraduate work permit is the permit that allows you to remain in Canada after you have studied here. So usually as an international student, when you're done with your program, if you want to stay back to work or to remain in Canada for the time being, you have to apply for a postgraduate work permit. One thing that you must never do is to lose your status as a student or lose your status to remain in Canada. Otherwise, you become ineligible to remain in Canada. So that is why you have to apply for your postgraduate work permit. That being said, what are the eligibility criteria? For you to obtain a postgraduate work permit, you must currently hold a valid temporary status or have left Canada, and you must have graduated from a DLI. Anyone that knows me on this channel knows how much I preach that you should make sure to take note of the university you're going to, whether or not they are a designated learning institution before you come down here. Because if the institution you are heading to is not a DLI, DLI is designated learning institution. If it's not a DLI, then you cannot be eligible for postgraduate work permit. I've done a video on some of the universities and colleges that you can try to look out for, and not just that, I left a comprehensive list that shows all the schools in Canada, the ones with the DLI, the ones without the DLI. I'll try to link it up for you above, so try to click on that or check the description box because I'm going to leave the link there as well. First thing, make sure that the school is a DLI. If it's not a DLI, then you cannot get a postgraduate work permit. The second thing is, you must hold a valid temporary permit. So what that means is, if you are still a student, before your study permit expires, you must apply for either an extension if you're not done with your program, and I have a video on that as well. I'll link it up above, or you check the description box, watch the video. It tells you how you can apply for study permit extension and all of the eligibility criteria, the documents that you need. If you're not done with school, then you have to apply for a study permit extension. But if you're done with your program, then you must apply within 90 days of the expiration period of your study permit in order for you to be eligible for a postgraduate work permit. All in all, what I'm just trying to say is, make sure that you have a valid permit that allows you to remain in Canada whilst you're trying to apply for your postgraduate work permit. Otherwise, you have to apply to restore your status first before you can apply for a postgraduate work permit. I hope you understand what I'm saying and I'm not trying to confuse you here. How to apply? Of course, just go to cic.ca, which is the official Canadian immigration website. Sign in, go to the section that talks about visitor, study, or work permit. I think if you want me to film a comprehensive video of how to apply, please let me know in the comments section. I'll do a detailed video on how to apply, show you some of the step-by-step process. When you log in and you apply to extend your permit, then you would be given a checklist to fill. Those document checklists would enable CIC to provide the document that you'll be eligible for. This is how you will know if you did the right thing. You'll be given the IMM 5710E document to fill. Usually you can only fill that if if you have Adobe Acrobat Reader on your laptop. So you download the document, open the document with Adobe Reader, and then you'll be able to fill the information. After filling the information, then you validate the information. Another document that you will need would be an official letter of completion from your school. That is very, very important, and also an official transcript from your school's website. Major documents here that you will need, aside your international passport, all of those basic documents that you're going to need, the major document that you require for the postgraduate work permit is your letter of completion from the university, because that is what validates your completion and enables IRCC to know that you have now graduated and you are eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit. What I'm saying in essence is you cannot apply for a postgraduate work permit except you've graduated from your program. Can postgraduate work permit be extended? I've gotten different questions around this as well. The answer is yes and no. It cannot be extended because you can only be given once in a lifetime, meaning you can only apply for your postgraduate work permit once, but it can be extended if your passport was supposed to expire and then they gave you till the end of your passport expiration, which does not necessarily cover the period that you're supposed to be eligible for. Let me explain. If, for example, you graduated from a 2 years program, you may be eligible for a 3 years postgraduate work permit. But in the case where your passport will be expiring, say in 1 year, IRCC can only give you the postgraduate work permit for 1 year. You have to get a new passport and then reapply to extend for the remaining 2 years that you need. I hope you understand what I'm saying and I'm not confusing you here. So yeah, it can be extended just based on that circumstance. But if you have exhausted the number of years that you're eligible for, meaning if you finish the 2 years program and you already got your full 3 years postgraduate work permit, or you finished your 8 months to 1 year program and you have gotten your 1 year postgraduate work permit and you've exhausted it, then you cannot apply for another postgraduate work permit. How long is the postgraduate work permit valid for? Like I just mentioned, it is valid between 8 months and 3 years, which means if you apply for 8 months program, then you get 8 months to 1 year postgraduate work permit. If you apply for more than 1 year, and I'm trying to say this carefully because I know that on the website it says 2 years for 3 years postgraduate work permit, but we've also seen people that finished their 2 years program under 16 months and they also got eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. Please, I'm going to be using PGWP postgraduate work permit interchangeably. If I say PGWP and postgraduate work permit, I'm referring to the same thing. So is there an age limit for postgraduate work permit? Absolutely not. There is no age limit for postgraduate work permit. All you need to do to be eligible for a postgraduate work permit is for you to have graduated from a DLI. I explained what DLI is earlier. Also, you must have your letter of completion from the school and you must have a valid passport that allows you to apply. That is all you need. There is no age limit. Now, let us talk about the main postgraduate work permit refusal reasons, which I know is why you clicked on this video in the first place. The first reason why you can be rejected for a postgraduate work permit is if you studied in a non-eligible DLI. I mentioned earlier, I'm going to leave a link in the description box. It is a list that has all the universities, colleges in Canada, schools that are DLI, also has the DLI numbers as well, and will tell you if the school is eligible for postgraduate work permit or not. Okay, so very comprehensive. I think you should look at it. And if I'm you, I'm even going to look at this list before applying for admission to any university. Another question that I feel like people ask me, when you apply to, for example, this university and you apply for a 1 year program or a 2 years program, you realize that the school is not a DLI and you cannot get a postgraduate work permit. If you finish from that program and move to another school for another 1 year program in a DLI, it is only that 1 year program in that DLI school that counts towards your postgraduate work permit. Another thing is, if you find yourself in this fix whereby you already applied to a school that is not a DLI or a school that does not offer postgraduate work permit, and you're already here in Canada or you're still back in your home country but you already have your visa going on and whatnot, then I would advise that if you're going to proceed, that's for those people that are yet to land in Canada. So if you still want to proceed, make sure that you do not apply for your postgraduate work permit when you're done with that program. So one thing you should do is that once you are in that program, make sure that you start applying for admission already so that there will be no gap in your study. very, very important, because that can also cause a refusal reason for the PGWP. The second one is if your study permit expired and you are out of status. I already explained that a little bit at the beginning of the video. Your study permit cannot expire during the application of your postgraduate work permit, and if it has expired, then you must pay a $200 restoration fee and apply for that permit. Failing to do so would lead to a rejection for sure. You must provide a reason why IRCC must go ahead to, accept your application when your study permit already expired. Please try to take note of the expiration date on your study permit, and please note, study permit is different from study visa. I've explained that a couple of times as well, so please go and watch that video. I'm talking about study permit because study permit is what makes you remain in Canada. Make sure that you check the date, and before it expires, within 90 to 180 days of its expiration period, try to apply for a new one so that you avoid all of these issues. Okay, it's a serious issue, so please take it very seriously. The next reason why you can be rejected for your postgraduate work permit would be when you are outside of the 90-day restoration period. When you do not apply for your extension when your permit expires, you automatically lose your status as a student. I mentioned that already, and you automatically become ineligible to study and to work. So if you're outside that 90 days restoration period, IRCC will not attend to your application. The $200 restoration fee that you pay to restore your status, it's eligible for 90 days, so you have to also apply within the 90 days. If you don't apply within that 90 days restoration period, your postgraduate work permit can also be rejected. So please take note and take it very, very seriously. Another one is unauthorized work. People ask me questions and say, how will IRCC know if I work more than 20 hours? I'm sorry, but you want to follow the rules here. If you're one of those people that are eligible to work for 40 hours, which is those from October 7, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, then you should. But if you are not, please refrain from doing so that you're not the scapegoat. If you have worked for more than 20 hours a week, you might risk getting a postgraduate work permit approval. Another thing is absence of your transcript. So if you do not submit your transcript, if you do not submit your letter of completion from your institution, then your postgraduate work permit will be refused. Don't forget that I mentioned that is the key document that you need for your postgraduate work permit. I didn't submit proof of funds. I don't think it's a requirement. What they really needed was for me to fill the IMM form and also attach my letter of completion and maybe letter of admission or something. But the letter of completion and your transcript is the major document that you need to attach to your application. So if you do not attach it, then you risk getting a refusal. Another reason would be studying part-time. If you don't already know, as an international student, you must maintain a full-time status in your school. For example, all universities have their requirements of maintaining a full-time status. At the University of Saskatchewan, where I studied, you must be enrolled in at least 2 courses a semester for you to be a full-time student. If you do not register for at least 2 courses, then you are not a full-time student, which also means that you will not be eligible for a postgraduate work permit. I would also say this, that if you're one of those people that due to financial reasons while you're studying you needed to defer your course or your study for a period, please make sure to reach out to IRCC, get a confirmation from the school so that you don't have to be explaining, no evidence, you go explain tire. That you don't have to be explaining when it's time for you to get a postgraduate work permit. The last one, which I touched on briefly in my last point, is study gap. So break in studies, for example, if you're switching school, if you're switching program, if you are deferring for personal reasons, could be financial reason or health reason, you must present these facts clearly to IRCC. You must disclose the reason for the gap. You must disclose the reason for the break in transmission, break in study. You must notify IRCC of every of your move, because until you become a permanent resident, you and IRCC must be a close ally. You guys must be really, really best of friends, because when you are in, there are some documentation, there are some application you have to do. For example, being here, I had to extend my study permit, I had to apply for work permit, I had to apply for visitor visa at some point for me to remain, because my study permit expired and I'm no longer a student. So I needed a visitor visa so that I can travel in and out of Canada if I want to. You still have a lot of relationship with IRCC, so make sure you inform IRCC of every of your move. It is very, very important. I have come to the end of this video. I hope that this video has helped with all of your curiosity or all of your questions. If you have further questions for me, let me know in the comment section, and also let me know other videos that you'd like to see on the channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe because it helps the algorithm, and it also helps me know that you benefited from this video. And if you have any other information or you have any other experience that you'd like to share regarding the postgraduate work permit approval or documentation, please let us know in the comment section. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.